It might just be us two tonight anyway, mate. It's
That's how I like it.
yeah, it's like ring Costa already.
There we go.
I've got a latte as well, so
I chose, but we'll go with it.
um, see, I'll cover this, mate, while it's just us two, and obviously the lads that watch it back might
Yeah,
make sense to them. I know we've got Matt. We've got Matt. Let him join.
yeah. Because to be fair, I've just marked up a few and I looked at Bitcoin, but
Yeah,
because of that crazy push down that happened February time there,
yeah,
I was unsure sort of how it went from there because that leg's
yeah,
massive. But
yeah. So,
uh,
so I'm super dubious of this. I am. I mean, it's sat at well, we're about 27-ish at the minute, just a bit more than 28 hour at the minute. Obviously, it reached about 35, I think it was 34, just over. Um, put that back to where I'd like it to go to. There you go. I'd like it to 164, but
yeah.
you know. Um, good evening, Matt. If you're listening, mate, if we can, he might have already fell asleep. To be fair.
Hi. Hello,
Hi, mate.
gents. I'm here.
All
I'm about
right.
to go and brush my teeth.
Um, so
Good to
yeah,
see you
like
guys.
you too, mate. Good to see you back. So yeah, this like I'm super dubious of this. I'll get to the reasons why I'm dubious about it first. Because obviously, if we look at this purple structure here, and now the 4 hour, I think this red line should be down here, possibly. Let me just undo what I've just done because that counted. Yeah, I mean this might be the 4 hour pullback, and we've we're pretty much overextended on the purples, what I'd call daily or weekly. Um, but essentially, if that's the 4 hour, and obviously this is the new low there, turn it red. Yeah, if that's the 4 hour structure, and obviously the purple structure's well overextended as well now. So I am one of the reasons I'm dubious is because I think we could be due a decent pullback, but obviously we've not had the confirmations to tell me we are. We've kind of had the confirmations to sort of say we're not, but obviously we're overall bearish. One of the good points for the trade is that we're in this sort of like bottom area here. I'll just delete that box so it's not relevant, and some of this crap there. It's filled. Yeah, we're just shy of this imbalance here that I don't know if it's been filled yet. Yeah, I think that's been filled. Yeah, as yeah, that was been filled. I had that marked to go, but it might come lower still. Looks like there's possibly something still under all this that I think, which is where my target's sort of around about. So that'll need checking properly as well. But like I say, we are sort of in a position where we could well be pulling, like get a decent pullback to like these sort of zones up here. iPhone 143 has joined. So my thinking for this sell is obviously I'll go through the whole thing short in a minute, but if we start to look at the structure coming down, I'm just going to turn the magnet off. I'm not going to bother with all this because it's kind of I'm coming to like the nearest sort of swings, so we kind of possibly get that as a swing there, and then we come all the way down here as a 15-minute. Um, kids can kids trying to break in. So from this sort of like area here, we get obviously just a continued push down. I don't think it looks any better on the 15-minute. Obviously, we'll have a look. It was a big push down. Yeah, it's pretty much all just one. I'd class that as one push on the medium to low time frame, whatever you want to class that as. So obviously, if it was gonna do a major pullback, obviously it's bearish. So if it's gonna majorly pull back, I'd at least expect it to have taken this high. Obviously, this will mark it. Stop being lazy, Anna. We've got an hour, so if I thought it was going to have a big pullback, I'd expect it to take that orange line. It hasn't yet. It's obviously come filled some stuff. um, Leading up to, obviously, now this is obviously where it's sort of this high here is obviously in the top 25% of this whole last leg that we was just looking at. It's not didn't quite fill the imbalance I had marked, but it's taken the lowest one and it's somewhere in between these two. I don't actually know how high it went in, but it's just shy of the two above that I had. But leading the structure leading up to it. So obviously, if this is what I'm classing as my 15, the one below it is the obviously the 1 minute, my 1 minute, and I would say that that's possibly so on this. If that's 15-minute leg, now we're on the hourly. I'll drop to the 15s because we'll get some more highs and lows visible on it. So if that's the one, we're going to get something going on a bit like this. And then again, I'd probably be down to the bottom, I guess there. So for a lower time frame break, maybe even this pullback here, that's maybe the confirmation of your one actually there. Change that one green. Go. High, low, high, low. And then obviously we get a break to the upside from there. Is that the wrong green? Yeah. That visible to you guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, sweet. So we get a 1 minute bullish structure forming from there anyway. Now the structures get quite big. Um, as you can see, obviously if you was watching it there, it's quite tight. You could have got an entry at that point, which would have been from here or something. There was even a mitigation and then a break to the upside. As again, and with this here, and then obviously comes back for it. And then maybe even that one as well. If there's a second sort of buy up to it. But leading up to, I'm just going to change to the hourly so we can fit more structures in on a screen. I'm zooming around a bit here, but there. So it makes the low from there. It changes character here, possibly there if you was being a bit stricter. We put in a high, make a low. We take the high, we put in a low, which is why I've got this green one line marked here. There you go. And then we take the high again into the sort of area that I was looking for a mitigation and a break to downside, which we get here. So we actually get it here just. And then this one's a roundabout market open last week. Whether that counts on Bitcoin or not, I don't actually know, but it does do it here anyway. That's at a reasonable time. So with what I obviously believe is if that's the 15, the one trends up to the high of the 15. Now the 15's not great. This is like as tight as I'm gonna sort of accept myself, you know. But like I say, we are majorly bearish. There's this sort of area is possibly responsible for lows being taken, major lows. Obviously, this gets taken. I think ideally it would have come a bit higher. I'd have liked it to have come up here because this candle here is the one that actually takes the low. But what it could be is that takes it, then this mitigates it, and then obviously the next leg is what it's come to mitigate before it then continues. That's kind of a little bit of my thought process. But obviously the main part of it being is we get a lower time frame break in the time frame above structure, or where I thought structure was. I might be well wrong. And then obviously from that point is when you get to picking an entry, is obviously we're just looking for an imbalance to be filled. I'm not going to search through all of it because it's a lot of price action. But if you jump on the 5 minute, you can kind of see you're going to want to at least include this push down here, and then obviously search to the high. Oh, not all right, got it. So all I did was I included that, and then literally this is a huge sexy imbalance. This is a lot of money in what, 10 seconds? I haven't checked it lower to be fair. 10-second candle, that is $300. I think that is 6 to 8, 200-ish. You know, they're close to $200 in 10 seconds, and obviously we get a bit of steadiness and then a continuation of more dollars per 10 second. No, I mean that stands out like a sore thumb. It stands out in the 5 minute, and obviously we're on the 10 second, so that's a huge push. And then obviously you should always check above. It might still come above and tag some it. Say it's done what I'm happy to take a trade from, roughly where I'm happy to take a trade from. And I say there's this up here. Not as keen on this one. The reason being is that up push isn't the best. Whereas what's this one? I didn't really check this one. It was just such a big down push. I didn't really care. It kind of lines up with stuff, do you know? So, um, we'll zoom further. There's a bit here, but again, nothing like the one that I'm in from. Builds that stuff. See, that one's filled by this here, and then there's a bit okay, possibly here, but this is the high. Not as keen. So might still be. I'll if it ends up taking me out, you know, I'll take a look at them zones and decide. But basically, that's the reason for that. To be honest, as you can see, obviously tapped real nice. It tapped in about half eight-ish last night. 8 there, 8, yeah, 8. Retapped in at half eight-ish, yeah. So that was the reason for that, obviously. Again, if this obviously is a 15-minute leg, I'm anticipating a new 15-minute leg low to be put in, which is 170-ish hour, touch more, touch less than. But like I say, if there's imbalance below, obviously it'll want to come for something in all of this and possibly fill liquidity, so it could even come lower. Obviously, Matt thinks it's go. Oh, see, that's trend line's done with anyway. It's a dead one. Duff. Obviously, Matt thinks it's going to zero anyway, so yeah, it could be a banger. It could be a loser.
Hold that trade, Lee.
Yeah, well, I'm
Pay off
gonna.
the house.
Yeah, yeah. It's. I'll. I'll see what it does when it gets around here. Um,
Problem is, if it's going to zero, you've got no exit liquidity.
I'll have to wait till it gets to a grand or something then.
Yeah.
But I mean, I do think we will possibly get a pullback anyway. So we have got obviously this high here. So if we draw a line there, call it a 4 hour, whatever, daily, weekly, whatever. There's argument that there's a 4.15 move going to play out from here. So obviously this 4 hour zone can be, you can pretty much mark it however you like. It's broken a 4 hour high or a major high. It's come back, taking liquidity with this here. It's then broken the 15-minute high. So we could get, I mean, this could be part of the 4.15 move to actually take it high, thinking about it. If it just depends how you'd mark the 15-minute zone from this. Now, obviously, we're on the daily, so if you was just cheeky and you went for the sake of the live and you went, that's the 15-minute zone. Obviously, if we've had the 1 minute break from down here, it's a possibility. I don't think it is, but I'd be very inclined to check the 15-minute zones on here. Now, if obviously with that thinking anyway, is if the 15-minute zone should be smaller, then I think it's come down into something in this. um, if the 15-minute zone is going to be smaller and it's going to be a 4.15 set up, then that tells me that my trade is possibly on the right side of the market to actually come lower. Now, obviously, it might go high before it comes and does that. Obviously, there's always the possibility. But I think if I was to mark that zone, now obviously I always mark them from the overall low. Um, you could mark it super tight here, but I think I'd be so anything up to that point there that gets broken is valid. So pretty much where I've stopped it. I think I'd be inclined to possibly suggest it's going to come. That one's been filled. Obviously, it's from the point that the 15 minutes broken. So at the point where, obviously, you're setting a alert at the 15-minute high. When that went off, it should be the point that he's obviously marked 15-minute zone. So obviously, we only mark them after. Once the breaker structure's happened, that's the point that confirms the 15-minute zone, if you like. And obviously, depending on how you mark it personally, we all pretty much mark it as similar, I'm guessing. Well, we should be, but obviously we then jump on the seconds chart and try and tighten things up and predict tighter points where things are going to turn from. It's possibly coming down here. Well, that one looks filled by this one. If that wick low one here, I'd be saying it's coming to this, especially because it looks like there's been liquidity, there's been a sweep. This is the reason for this or that high being taken, one of the two. That is technically a new low from that one. So it could be that one that gets broke. If you's being super cautious, obviously it would be that high. We get a pullback and take the whole lot. So just whether you'd count that's a low from what I can see on my screen at the minute. But it'll be a 1 minute low. It just depends if we count that as another low. It meets the rules technically, but it don't take it by loads, and then obviously we get a huge push. So I'd be inclined to be, if you're safe, that one. If you're fine taking a bit more of a risk, then it'll be that one. Like I say, it breaks it there, that comes back for it. Technically, if you went with that one, obviously you'd be looking for it to come mitigate something in here, which is what it's done now, I think. Not quite lowest one. So Luke. Yeah, no, not yet. So it might come for that lower one still. That, and obviously it might come well low, and it might take the whole lot. This is obviously we're just looking at reasons why it might come lower still. Structures sort of telling us, other than obviously on this return up, we've still don't think we've taken the well, maybe that one. So we might get a bit of a pullback now and then a continuation down. The reason I say that is because, again, things get tight. So I'm happy from this to there. And then all of this sort of area is a bit messy. All of that's a bit messy for a structure wise. I'm happy that this is a high and a low. So it could be that. Yeah, and then we've broken this low here. Draw a line. Yeah. Zoom. Now I'm going to use a blue line because Matt loves a blue line. Failing that, it could just be this. Yeah. Blue.
That's better.
Yeah. So it's kind of not taking it yet, which means it might just obviously this might be the maximum it goes and then continues up and takes me out. We'll see. We will see. I feel like I tried making a trend line, but I couldn't quite do it. I should delete all that so we can see. There's a lot of like close looking trend lines in this, but not quite. So we've got stuff like that possibly going on. Just short here. We've got so many. Sure, these all look better earlier. This might even be a trend line here. That's taken. I was looking at it earlier anyway, and there seemed to be like no actual proper trend lines, but non-perfect, but plenty of close twos kind of thing. So I was even looking like down here to try and make these kind of work, you know. Close, not quite. But yeah, nothing's perfect. And I'd loved to have seen an actual perfect trend line somewhere in this. I'm not saying there isn't, everything was just slightly off. So it's just past there on that one. Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see. It's sort of done everything I want it to. It's just like I say, there's some imbalance slightly above. It is what it is. It's sat comfortably at the minute. What I'll probably do is I might even be gay actually. Um, I might even see if there's any imbalance close to the entry, and I might even move to being gay. Delete that. Yeah, see, there's imbalance in the entry zone. Now, if that was a shitty few candles, I'd say the next lowest would be maybe there or in here. I mean, there's stuff all over for it to come for, so that's not imbalanced. I won't be too bothered by that. This is of interest. That fills that one, obviously. Some big pushes, drops even. Yeah, I'll leave it. I'll suck up the loss if it happens. I don't care. But what I would consider doing, like say, if there's no imbalance in this top, so like if the lowest imbalance in it was here, I'd just move to maybe break even. But there's imbalance in this, so rather I'd rather take the loss at this point. Is there any questions on that, peoples? Anything we're not happy with? Anything unclear?
I'm good.
All good, all good,
Fine, thank you.
good, good. So time now. Looking 28 minutes in. I was hoping I'd wasted nearly an hour. What I'll do then is we will maybe try and look at some charts. Fly. So again, this could have been a major buy. Gutted about this one, to be honest. Similar kind of pullback and from do you know, obviously I'm just going over Bitcoin. Obviously the down leg, not a great pullback and structure, but yeah, I was happy with that being me 1 minute there. Now obviously we're on the 2 hour and it'll look better the lower we get, kind of. Not the best looking structure as a pullback to want to see for your 1 minute break, but it is there kind of thing. Obviously, it's the one that gets broken and it comes back and tags an entry. Unfortunately, it was literally I think it was like 11 minutes after we spread our market open. And I wasn't about. Yeah, said 11 minutes past 11. So technically, obviously, after 11's okay, but spreads are still a little bit iffy at that time anyway. So nay to worry is what it is. Been a banger since 101 hour, 102, really, just about 102. Again, I mean, this could be, you know, my dog sneezing.
Could be
Again,
something, yeah.
lie as well. Again, this could be a potential huge move. That one that I literally just glimpsed over. Obviously, we've got a big structure forming, high, low, high, possible low, put in, and then obviously it goes through breaking the relevant time frame structures or whatever you want to, whatever they be. Obviously, puts in a high, pullback, so we could as well see a new high put in from that one. 250 odd hour wouldn't. Yeah, we'll probably shit our pants at that to be fair, but that's
Move like that, do you check what the POI, what tapped in the POI mean?
yes, mate. Yeah, I would have. Obviously, it didn't tap one of the zones I had marked, but I mean, straight away you can kind of see that, you know, this long extended wick here. Yeah,
Yeah, on a 4 hour chart, yeah.
yeah. I'll have a look. I did look. I can't remember what it was now. Yeah, middle of the day,
Okay.
big down push, bit of some imbalance on the 5 minute created anyway. Look on the one imbalance looking thing. Whatever this, I'm assuming this is what it actually came for, was this thing here that creates this down push.
Yeah.
Yeah. Doesn't fill an imbalance that we would generally look for per se, but you know, if you was used a bit of nuance, I guess. It was terrible for trading and trying to educate, but it's not always going to fill an imbalance that we mark perfectly. I was, yeah. Obviously, at the time, mate, I was more looking at, obviously, I had this marked, so I believed that price was going to come in here into this orange
Yeah.
box, do a break to the upside, and obviously do its thing and then possibly buy up. I mean, it might still come lower. Obviously, there's every chance it will. I don't actually know. It's just from this, obviously from the structures we just looked at, whether so obviously there's a few different orange lines going on here.
Yeah.
Technically, that's the probably what I'd class as the overall 15, and this might be the one as such, or the lower. There might be a couple below this sort of 15. But yeah, it's obviously the way it moves is it generally comes back for something after it breaks the structure. So whether it's that one or that one or whatever, it's wanted to come back for something, and then obviously I'm anticipating it's going to make a new high. Obviously, I don't know for certain. I think on the higher time frame, so on the weekly at the minute, there's also reason to believe that the sell is the right move coming up. So obviously, if we look at this one here, we're definitely in the top 25% of that. So huge sells could be actually the actual move. So yeah, we're in the top 25%. We're in the top probably 90 come actually. Um, so I would be very now it's where it is, it's coming close to this sort of like low here because this low put the high in. It could obviously turn around, take the whole low out, and then I would be thinking, right, as soon as we let me just move my coffee. If from this somewhere in all this, obviously we're on the weekly, so there's plenty of stuff to for it to aim for, sort of higher still, but there's plenty lower as well. If fuck off, if it comes and takes the high from there, obviously comes even higher in there, and then takes the low, obviously big sells will be on the card at that point. Um, but yeah, at the minute, obviously we are the time frames that we were just speaking of. We are still bullish, I believe. And obviously, I'll still think that until we take lows, like major lows. So, obviously, I've got I don't think you can quite see the 4 hour structure on this. Now, obviously, I've only got these last two bits sort of marked up, but obviously, from this low here on September 22, I'll draw it out actually, stop being lazy, draw the whole thing. And from this low created, we get 4 hour or higher time frame bullish structures. Now that might be the new 4 hour low. And we've just come back to mitigate something before we continue making a 4 hour low. Somewhere in that, maybe, that's possible. um, all equally as possible is this high here That high there. Turn it blue. This candle. That's it. What's also possible is that that's tapped into what it wanted in here. It might have taken liquidity. Not there. Not there. So it'd be way up here. So yeah. Now we're on the weekly, so there's a lot of scope for error on this trend line. But no, sure there. There's possibly liquidity somewhere anyway. I'm not going to spend loads of time doing it. But yeah, the point is that that high might have tapped into what it wanted to in this area here. Because like I said earlier, we are majorly higher time frame. At the high of this in the actual downtrend. So this this buy might just be the pullback to mitigate something before it does take this low. Well, I mean that's always going to be the case. Is obviously there's going to be times where you feel like if you take a trade from if you got in this early, you know, and there was still loads above this high in this, then you'd be fairly comfortable in sort of the direction it might want to go. Or especially if you can get in like I say, obviously there's breaks above these highs from this low. Now obviously this was 3, 4 years ago this low was put in, so oh, I think I was maybe just starting to entertain. I think that's actually when I joined, within a week or two, actually, this low. Um, Obviously, if you was experienced then and you started seeing it taking these highs here and you got in really low here, now obviously if you was expecting it to come fill all, like say, this market volume gap here and come way up here, you know it's going up kind of thing. Um, but it's in a place now where it could go. I'm proper blundering this. It could go up. It could go down from here. It's just based on the biggest structure. We are starting. If that's going to continue, I suppose the default setting for structure is I'm always kind of assuming it's going to continue. That's my first and safest option. So sells from here is a safe option because the higher the time frame, the more I'm expected to continue. I would only anticipate it's going to break structure to the upside if there was reasons like say liquidity above. Um, I was expecting some kind of world news that would indicate it's going to continue up kind of thing. So I'm more on the side of sells, but like at the minute we are still uh, higher time frame. So this is weekly. My purple's eye class is about weekly. Red's 4 hour, so we're still 4 hour bullish at the minute, but weekly bearish. So I'm maybe anticipating the 4 hour to go because the one above is bearish. So that's kind of what I'm thinking with GU. That might be a trend line. No, not quite. It's taken by a bit. So, yeah, unsure at the minute. Could come a bit higher. Could just take the low. That's my opinion on GU. That's not really helpful, I know, but from yeah, it's just not helpful, I guess. Yeah. But like I say, the low's not been taken. It's given signs to the break to the go up the upside. The 1 minute's at least gone um to the up like bearish, so which is why I took the trade, and it's from a zone that had other structural reasons for. So there is a yeah, I think the 4 hours still bearish, bullish, sorry. Now we have taken this, so there is a possibility it's just going to come up here, mitigate something, and sell off. It's kind of risky though. You'd have to check what this has gone into, I think, to actually be confident in it. Now we've got this huge push here on 4 hour. Go back to 21 June. Is that Brexit? No, 16. No. COVID 21, was it? 16 was Brexit, I think, wasn't it? 20, COVID, don't know. Don't know. But yeah, anyway, it's looking like there's possible still stuff higher in this anyway. Obviously, it's tapped into this. Uh, oh, I didn't want to do that. Is anyone else's trading view, by the way, just started when I'm on my phone? When I start scrolling, it's like it locks it. So when I'm trying to swipe to move that way, it just does that. Like it's fixed. Keeps doing it. Doing me head in. So it's tapped into this at the minute. Now looks to be like there might be some liquidity taken, sort. Not clean, but it's tapped into this anyway. Big push up, big push down. So manipulation, liquidity, whatever. That could be what it's come for. Who knows? No one will ever know the actual answer. But there is, and it's filled that by looks of it. It's filled this. Maybe something like what this. I think this is what it will probably come for. Yeah. This takes this as well. So um, that what I said I think it's going for takes that low. Um Now obviously there's a case for argument that that's the low, that's the high. It could be with that to there, to there. It takes a low anyway. It takes a. I mean, we're all on the 4 hour here, want some drawing small structures, but that takes that. That's definitely a prominent low. So there's a good chance that's what it's going to at least come for, which means that the buy has potential to go there. That might be the turning point. Um, Definitely with a line drawn and a late sort of in that area. That would kind of line up with the American dollar getting stronger. So it's weakening at the minute. I want it to be weak at the minute. Yeah, it's weakening. But then strengthen. Do I think it'll strengthen? That's the question. No, I do. Could do. Could do. Again, I think this is possibly coming, could possibly come higher than this. So it's mitigated something in here, but there is potential that that's still going to come higher into there still, which kind of lines up with what we just spoke about. So, yeah, there's potential for it to actually that might GU might come higher and then obviously DXY is just the dollar. So this trend line, this is a sweep. It broke. It's now broken the high that put in the overall low on that. And that might continue up. So that would indicate GU down overall. So this might just be coming back to obviously I don't know if you can trade the DXY. I've never seen it, but someone said you can. But obviously that put POI, there's liquidity here. That's the reason for that point of interest. It's tapped into it. It's broken the overall high that tapped into it. Take a liquidity. This might, the DXY, like I say, might come to be mitigating something in this sort of wick sort of area, obviously up to around about there, something in this. Which, if that's the case, if the DXY does this and then goes up higher, that kind of plays into what we just spoke about with the DXY, so it kind of makes sense. Um, yeah, that's what I think for that anyway. Is there any questions, peoples? Whose iPhone anyway? Whose iPhone 143? Probably not listening.
I'm good with that.
Oh, good. If there's nothing
Come
for
on, it's not me. It's not Luku, is it?
Andrew,
Oh, in the comments.
yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's all good, man. I just wondered who it was. If there's no further questions, guys, I'll probably call it there and try and finish my coffee off anyway.
Yeah, that's cool. Thanks, Lee. Enjoy your coffee.
Cheers, gents.
I won't be on next week. I'm off on holiday.
Fuming.
Cool.
Yep.
Enjoy, mate. I'll speak to you in the week. I'll speak to you all in the week, no doubt.
Thanks, everybody.
Well,
Take it easy.
hopefully we all have a good one.
Yeah, hopefully we all make plenty of money, and we all hope Bitcoin falls off a cliff, but enough for
It's
me to get
supposed to.
out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
down to 5K. Get out then.
To be fair,
Or
though,
10K.
obviously it's only with obviously a broker, so I think they'll close the trade out regardless, will they, or will they not?
No, they still need liquidity. You just get slips.
Oh, yeah. Fact,
They,
that's.
every trade has two sides.
Mm. I just didn't know if they filled in the void kind of thing. If they,
Not if it costs some money, Lee.
yeah, yeah.
I don't think so, mate.
Any excuse not to, I guess. Yeah, down to 5K,
Yeah,
and then they want someone to want to buy loads.
yeah. Oh, Justin will buy it.
Yeah. I mean, at 5 grand, mate, I'd probably take a good stab at
Yeah,
getting a decent chuck, to be fair.
I I bought one once when it was it 9 grand? I had one once when it was 9 grand. Yeah, I bought one.
Yeah.
Yeah, sold it all
Nice.
in dribs and drabs and totally lost still.
Yeah. Right, I'll see you guys in the week. All right.
In a bit, mate.
Take it easy, guys.
Cheers, guys.
Ta-ra.
Thank you.